What are some very creepy facts? The Colombian serial killer Pedro Alonso Lopez, who is known as the Monster of the Andes, raped and murdered over 300 girls from Ecuador, Peru and Colombia. However, after he was caught and imprisoned for 18 years, he was put in a psychiatric hospital. There he was reviewed, declared to be sane, and was set free, in spite of his blatant avowal that he fully intends to kill again. Since he was released in 1998, nobody knows where he is, or what he's doing. He is supposed to be 71 years old at present. He is known for being the most prolific killer ever. There is a genetic disease called fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva. When tissue is damaged, it is replaced with bone. Growths form underneath their skin and their joints lock solid, so over time those affected slowly become encased in a prison of bone just beneath their own skin. They usually have to choose between sitting or standing up for the rest of their life. By the end of their life they have to drink every meal through a straw, and can barely move. If you get a blood transfusion, and get the wrong type of blood, A, B, O, AB, one of the symptoms is a sense of impending doom. Lobsters don't age. Their cells don't decompose. They grow so big that they spend more energy to shed than they can reserve, and die of exhaustion. Humans' eyes don't reflect light at night like animals do. I like to say this fact to my wife at a campfire. Over 90% of serial killers choose their victims through sexual desire. In fact, many serial killers have been caught because they return to the body of their victims to masturbate. Your eyes have a separate immune system from the rest of your body. If they get damaged in such a way that it affects anything other than your eyes, your regular immune system can attack the damage and will not recognize them, meaning your own body can permanently blind you. What's worse, your body cannot tell the difference between either eye. If one of them gets infected or damaged, your immune system can attack your healthy eye and take away your sight entirely. Remember that bath salts cannibal guy from a couple years back? He wasn't high on bath salts when he did that. That was just media speculation and bullcrap. They only found pot in his system during the autopsy. We still have no idea why he flipped out. The men of the ship Essex, the true event that inspires the story Moby Stick, avoided islands after being shipwrecked for fear of cannibals. The islands were settled, and landing there would have brought salvation to the survivors. Ironically, because of this bypass, the men ran out of food, and were forced to eat each other for survival. The Chankiri tree is a tree in the Cambodian killing fields against which babies and small children were bashed after their parents had been killed. A firewall can go as big as an F3 tornado. In 1923, such happened in Japan during an earthquake, the son of which killed 38,000 people in less than 15 minutes. In 1975 the CIA had a heart attack gun. It kills people and then the dart denigrates. Just imagine what is classified now. Cannibals find the palm of the hand the tastiest. The bottom of Lake Superior is cold enough that the bodies of dead sailors just remain. They don't really decompose because it's at freezing temperatures. So they instead get a coating of adipocere. Think that's how it's spelled. Which is liquid body fat, hardened around them. Gordon Lightfoot wasn't lying when he wrote "The lake never gives up her dead sauce. The lake that never gives up her dead, ask a mortician." Elmer McCurdy was a failed Old West outlaw. His preserved body was put on display in a traveling carnival, and years later he was eventually assumed to be mannequin, until he was used on set for the TV show The $6 Million Man. His arm accidentally fell off during the shoot, revealing bone and muscle, and that he was a corpse, not a mannequin. After raping his blindfolded victims, the Golden State Killer would be super duper quiet, and pretend like he was gone, and right when the poor victims would start to move towards the phone, or try to untie themselves, he would scare the ducking crap out of them. One reason that crows and ravens are associated with death is because they would often follow armies as they marched to battle. Being both carrion birds and extremely intelligent, They realized that a large group of armed men marching on one direction meant that there would be a tasty meal of corpses to eat soon afterwards. Crocodiles can gallop like a horse. I don't like knowing this, so I'm cursing you people with this knowledge as well. Fortunately, alligators cannot. Imagine being totally aware of someone performing CPR, but you physically can't move or respond. Well, that's what happens when you get bitten by a blue-ringed octopus. You have approximate 6 minutes between being bitten and someone starting CPR to keep your heart and lungs functioning to ensure you survive, all whilst being totally aware of what is happening to you. Neurotoxins are fun. The US has lost 6 nuclear warheads in total. Your brain can play tricks on you to make you see monsters in the mirror, called the Traxler effect. The Traxler effect is an optical illusion that affects how you perceive things, both visually and mentally. I once read that you should play dead if a bear attacks you, unless they start licking your wounds, because that means they plan to eat you. That still haunts me to this day. Edit. If it helps, I'm pretty sure I was reading about grizzly bears at the time during one of my fevered grizzly man rabbit holes. The astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger most likely didn't die until they hit the water miles below the initial explosion. There's a spider that gives you a 3H long boner before you die from its bite. Edit. The boner it gives you is very painful. The human body can be drained of blood in 6 seconds given adequate vacuuming systems. If the sun exploded right now, you would be blissfully unaware of it for just over 8 minutes, while the energy travels at the speed of light to get to you. Polar bears are the only animals that are thought to actively hunt humans. Edit. Maybe not the only ones, but it's good backquote now. Most people smell different when they're awake. Since 1900, over 13,000 people have been murdered by serial killers in the USA. Female mummies in ancient Egypt were always more decomposed than their male counterparts. They discovered that this was because male bodies were embalmed a lot sooner than female bodies. Female bodies were kept at the family home until they started to decompose, in order to avoid necrophilia at the embalmers. There are upwards of 300 active serial killers in the world. A single tiger has killed over 436 people in India. Sense of impending doom is an actual symptom that often precedes your death, usually in cases of heart attack. Very creepy for some of us that suffer from anxiety and panic attacks to begin with. Both share that symptom. Edit. As many of you are pointing out, yes, I used preclude incorrectly. // Since 2007, at least 20 detached human feet have been found on the coasts of the Salish Sea. There's a parasite that enters a fish's mouth, eats the tongue, and replaces itself as the fish's new tongue. Hearing is the last thing to go after you die. You just might hear the paramedics and firefighters call off CPR. According to Abe Lincoln's bodyguard Crook, he said Lincoln had a dream about his own assassination 3 nights in a row before he was killed. Crook told Lincoln not to go on that fateful night, and all Lincoln said was goodbye. Crook before he went to the play. This was very odd, as Lincoln always said, good night, not goodbye. Mount Everest is covered in frozen corpses because removing them is very unsafe and time consuming. They are easily viewed from the climbing routes and some are used as trail markers. After getting stung by a cone snail, you don't feel the sting for a little bit. There is no antivenom, and it can be lethal. Treatment is basically keeping the victim alive until the venom wears off. Human brains when they dry out smell like cat piss, that stinky ammonia smell. Worked in an ER for 17 years in court. Had a gunshot to the head come in, and a chunk fell onto my shoe and didn't notice. While driving home was like, WTF, did my cat piss in the car or something? Went to take my shoes off and there was / edit for all you people with morbid curiosity. Fresh brains looked like cream cheese mixed with strawberry jam / edit too. No. They died. Trans life harvested organs. Peeling off scotch tape in a vacuum creates rays. We don't know why. CNN has had a pre-recorded broadcast from the 90s which they will premiere during the end of the world. Albert Fish, the serial killer, loved eating poop. Edit. Didn't expect Uncle Albert's peanut butter to blow up like this. Check out the podcast Time Suck Biden Cummins. He's got an episode about Albert Fish and goes in depth about other serial killers in other episodes. I bring this up at parties all the time. When climbing Mount Everest, there's a point nicknamed Rainbow Valley or Rainbow Ridge because it's absolutely littered with the bodies of people who attempted to make the climb. The combination of the extremely cold temperature and the bright snowsuits means that they've become a never-rotting but colorful landmark. Pigs will eat anything. There are stories of pigs entering farmhouses and eating newborn humans. A black mamba is the fastest snake which can slither at a speed of 12.5 miles an hour, 20 km/h. They have neurotoxins which are fast acting. The venom shuts down the nervous system and paralyzes the victim. Its venom is able to kill 10 people and it repeatedly bites. To add on to this, there is an almost 100% kill rate and can kill in 20 minutes. Men who are hanged get a death erection, known as rigor erectus. Pretty awkward for the family, I assume. More than 7,000 people die annually due to the doctor's bad handwriting. Edit. I didn't expect this to blow up so much. So if you upvoted my comment, thanks so much. Serial killer Richard Chase took any unlocked door as an invitation to come inside. If you begin to display symptoms of rabies you will go crazy and die. There's no cure. Your brain will slowly melt until you're dead. At roughly 1100 degrees Fahrenheit a body takes 2 to 4 hours to be ash. They used real corpses in the 1982 film Poltergeist for the ending pool scene. The actress did not know until after the scene was filmed. Cockroaches have been recorded eating human flesh, both living and dead, as well as fingernails, eyelashes, feet, and hands. The American cockroach and German cockroach are more likely to bite humans than other species. Pretty sure Australian cockroaches do something equally creepy. But as an Australian who plans to sleep at some point in the future, I'm not going to Google it. The reason dogs like squeaky toys is because the squeak reminds them of small animals dying. Blobfish in its natural habitat looks like a normal fish, but it lives so deep underwater that it doesn't use a normal gas bladder to keep itself balanced. Instead, it has a spongy skin that is slightly less dense than water, which becomes damaged and bloated when fishermen bring it up too quickly. It's not really the ugliest fish. It has just experienced something worse than one of us being thrown into outer space. Between sea level and space, there's 1 atmospheric pressure of difference. Between sea level and 2,000 feet underwater, their upper limit, there's 60 atmospheres of difference. It was once discovered that a fir tree was growing inside a human body. Artyom Sidorkin went to the doctor suspecting something wrong with his lungs. The doctors thought they were dealing with a tumor, but turns out he had inhaled a fir tree seed which had sprouted and had begun growing in his lungs. Edit. Wow, so Grey's Anatomy is a popular show. I'm sure this was the inspiration for that episode. If you stifle a sneeze there's a chance you can damage organs in your head, including eye blood vessels, rupturing your eardrums, and possibly rupture a brain aneurysm. Which means there's a small chance stifling a sneeze can kill you. Better to be the loud ass with the sneeze that can be heard around the world than a dead loud ass cause someone told you to stifle that sneeze. An elephant masturbates by slapping its penis on itself. Ducks become cannibals due to boredom. Of all ducking reasons, they can only be stopped by cutting off their mouths. There was a speech made for Apollo 11 if they were to die on the moon. Side fact, if it were to happen, people would look up at the moon knowing that that crew died there, and their bodies would rest there till the end of time. Not forgetting that the ocean is somewhat like this. Many people died there too, at the very depths of the sea. If you live to age 70 you will have shed around 105 pounds of skin. Edit. Because most seem confused. I mean over time, not all at once, that would be terrible. If you're in a boat directly over the deepest point of the Marianas Trench, and you have a passenger jet cruising at 30,000 feet above you, you are closer to the jet than to the bottom of the ocean. Edit. Spelling edit 2. Wow, didn't expect this to blow up. Here's another interesting, but not creepy, fact about the Pacific Ocean. Every single landmass on Earth, if combined together, is still smaller than the Pacific Ocean itself. Edit 3. No, I never joke about Pacific facts. Dolphins are ducking monsters, and although this one isn't as creepy as other comments, but gangs of male dolphins can trap a female, slap her around with their tails, and forcibly duck her for weeks. Dolphins are ducked up, man.